Good evening and happy Dead King Day from Sleepy Raccoon Cave, capital of the United Goblin Kingdoms. We welcome you to the first ever debate for Goblin King. On this day, we remember our first king, Philip, who died tragically in a tribute gift gone wrong incident. My name is Ravenlock. Joining me is Cargrim. We will be your moderators tonight.
Now to introduce our candidates for the night, representing the central extremist moderate party is Tong Stumpyknees, who previously served as tree number 2 in the Goblin musical Oh Golly, I Sure Wish Trees Were Talking, as well as being the first 4'3" goblin to assault a human and fight successfully. And representing himself is Arthur Coalburn, best known for being friends with his dwarf and killer last king. He is also a human.
Our rules are simple. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question, and 30 seconds for rebuttal. We picked 5 key topics for both candidates to address, and after each candidate has finished their rebuttal times, we will ask questions. A dice will determine who will go first for the final statement. Tom won the roll and chose to go last. Question 1, Mr. Coalburn. Given the recent death of our king by the hands of a dwarf, as well as the slow massacre of our people by the aforementioned group, how do you plan to settle tensions between our kingdom and the dwarven nation before any more kings die?
Very simple. Very simple. Alcohol. If we all just drink more, there'll be no problems. And if everyone's drunk, we can all settle it easily.
Tong Stumpyknees, do you have a rebuttal?
Well, thank you first off for hosting this moderation today. But what my opponent doesn't seem to understand is that not everything can be solved with alcohol. It is a good contributor for everything, but not necessarily successful, especially when they're hurling things at us at very quick speed before we can reach them, including hammers. Now, I have a completely different approach to this. A very, very good one. So, you see, dwarves love hair. They are infatuated by it. So we're going to take all of our hair, we're going to remove it from our bodies, and then we're going to add it to a mixture. We're going to add flour, we're going to add sugar, we're going to add eggs, vanilla, baking soda, we're going to heat it up, we're going to make them a hair cake. And then we're going to take this hair cake to them, give it to them. And that is how we're going to make friends, because we will have no hair that they desire. And they'll have more hair than they know what to do with. It'll be a very big cake. It'll take them a while to eat.
Okay, Mr. Stumpyknees. That was a great rebuttal. Mr. Stumpyknees, how do you intend to address the growing tensions between the dwarves and goblins?
Well, the dwarves and goblins, like you say, we need to shove cake down their throat. Like, just shove it down there. They'll love it.
All right, Mr. Coalburn, how would you respond to this?
So what he doesn't understand, what Mr. Tom, what he doesn't understand is that everyone else doesn't like hair in their food. So I don't believe that the dwarves would like that cake very much.
All right, moving on. Mr.
Now, hold on.
Stumpyknees.
I'd like to respond to that.
Yes.
So, how exactly they like hair? We can get rid of the hair. We don't like hair. It's just dwarves who like hair. Like our moderator, right? Why? I feel like I'm... Well, anyway. So why exactly do you think that we can't do it? Why do you think dwarves won't like it?
Because
Why can't you answer this for the nation?
I've not heard a thing about hair from the dwarves I've met. But you know
What dwarves you met? Murderers?
One of them, yes. No, but you know what they do like? Alcohol.
Everyone likes alcohol.
Exactly.
Where are you gonna get this alcohol?
We're gonna hunt, and then we're gonna sell that hunt to buy more
I'm not quite sure what he just said.
Okay, then. What a wonderful first topic.
Mr. Stumpyknees, over the last 10 years, alcohol consumption has dropped substantially among goblins, leading to higher levels of productivity, happier lives, and fewer preventable deaths. How do you intend to fix this major issue?
Well, you see, it's become a progressive issue in our youth to just not drink alcohol. It's ravaging our country. We've lost so many good goblins to happy lives. We need to stop this. They are consuming terrible, horrible substances like water, and it is just destroying our nation. So, if day one, I'm going to pass a bill, it will make all water consumption illegal for goblins under the age. But if they want to buy water, they have to be adults. Until then, they drink alcohol.
Mr. Coalburn, how do you plan to deal with the lowered consumption of alcohol?
I mean, kind of in the same way he would, except less extreme. I don't know. That's kind of took my ideas there.
See, he doesn't even have a plan.
I don't. Except alcohol. More alcohol. We buy more, then they can have more.
Where are we going to get this money?
From all the hunts that you guys do.
Hunts don't bring gold.
That's what you think.
This guy, he's insane. He's so radical. He's going to destroy our kingdom. This is just going to end in another Dead King's Day.
Have you goblins been to the city?
What city?
That'll be all.
Stumpyknees, how do you, what is your response to all this?
This is nonsense. We shouldn't be doing this. He has no plan, and yet I have to be in this debate. He's not prepared at all. All he has under his belt is having a friend who killed the last king.
You're using the word friend quite loosely there.
You gave him your sight to kill him.
I did not give my sight to him.
You let him do it
I
because you were alive. You were not.
He just took it.
Why would you let him do that?
Mr. Coalburn, your response to this.
The sight was taken from me. Unwillingly.
Now, why might I ask, were you not keeping better hold of it?
It was on my back. He just yoinked it off of my back.
Surely,
Shouldn't have been within grabbing range.
what my partner meant to say, surely you would understand missing a good considerable amount of weight being shifted off of your back.
Oh, I tried to get it back.
From what it looked like, you had no intention of doing so until after it was gone.
It's no different from like you drop your bag of gold. No different from that, is it not?
Gold is not the same weight as a giant scythe. Giant retractable scythe.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Moving on. Mr. Coalburn, following the end of the Great War, jobs related to murder and mayhem have dropped, and such employment of goblins is at an all-time low. How do you plan to deal with the goblin unemployment rate?
So what I understand from this is we need more jobs for the goblins.
Yes.
So we get them jobs as hunters to hunt animals for food. And then we cut a portion of that food and we sell it. And then what we do with that gold is we buy alcohol or more consumption of alcohol.
But what if you sell it and it is not good meat?
Then we would need to teach the goblins what is good meat.
And how do you expect to do that?
Either I teach them, if they don't get it, I might just do it myself.
Stumpyknees, your response to this.
This is by far just absurd radicalism. This idea of using money to buy things instead of hoard for the Goblin King, he's going to far-right fascism.
It does seem like tradition is being thrown out the window here.
Exactly. He has no respect for our people.
All right then, Mr. Stumpyknees, how would you approach this crisis?
Well, there's many jobs within our country that just have gone completely out the window. For so long, we were so caught up with warfare, working for the Dark Lord, that we lost our ability to do certain jobs, and thus we outsourced them. So here's what I'm proposing. Starting on day one, we're going to kick all furniture out of this cave. A goblin they can be a chair if they want to. They can be a table. They can be a wall stone if they should so choose. All these jobs can be filled by goblin working men and women.
If that's the case, what if a weak goblin decides he wants to be a chair and then ends up getting hurt in the process? How will we adjust that?
We'll have a vetting process for the hiring.
Doesn't seem like you're taking a whole lot of care for the safety if one chooses to be one's pet. As if you were a chair, but then gets sat on by a bigger goblin.
Safety? We care about safety?
Well, considering we were so distraught at the death of our last king.
I wasn't. I didn't like the guy.
Coalburn, how would you respond to his method of solving the unemployment?
I think it's blasphemy. How could you make all these goblins slave away at a job they might not like? Even if they sign up for the job. What I think as if I were to become the next king of the goblins, I want to share my goods with the goblins instead of hoarding it and being greedy. I would also like to have more safety for the goblins, so that way we'd have less casualties.
With what you're imposing, it goes up against a lot of tradition. Are you sure the goblins will ever be able to accept that?
And if they don't, well, I might have to change my ways. What I want is to be a goblin chaser for the people.
And how would you respond to that?
Well, it's just more far-right fascist rhetoric. This is all just horrible planning on his part. It's going to completely destroy our way of life. Paying goblins? That's unheard of. We only hoard. That's what we were designed to do. And you're just spitting in our culture's face by saying you think that we should have gold? Just unheard of. Unheard of. And by the way, when it comes to the vetting process, you have a 2-week notice. You can put it at any time. We have systems in place for all this. We can do this. We just have to not elect the radical. Thank you.
Mr. Stumpyknees, the epidemic of back pain has ravaged your goblin communities. Under King Philip, many goblins carried stones on their back, which in the long run led to more back pain than ever. What is your solution to this epidemic?
Well, I've said before, I do not agree with everything Philip did. The rock thing was just a little over the top, kind of a weird way to solve the unemployment. But we could solve this very easily. If I'm elected king, I will put in place infrastructure to develop balloon harnesses that you can put on your shoulders to take the weight off of your back. It will completely shatter this statistical nightmare we're currently dealing with. This epidemic will end if I am elected king.
What if anything bad happens to the balloon? Will the goblin that suffered such a tragedy be reimbursed?
Yes,
How so?
they'll get a new balloon.
How do you plan on making sure we have enough?
Infrastructure.
Very well. Coalburn, how would you like to respond to this?
Well, I would like to suggest a more permanent, or rather, something that will be better for the long run, instead of maybe your balloon popped and you just sag back down. It's gonna hurt a lot. So what I suggest is we have a class for the goblins to teach them how to maybe crack another goblin's back, or crack their own back.
You seem to be into a lot of teaching.
I
Why is that? Should we not trust in goblin intuition?
would like for them to be able to teach amongst each other.
Something to your response to this.
Once again, completely misunderstanding our culture. Learning is just, it's of the devil. And that seems to be what you're implying we need to be doing here. Knowledge is the only way that you can become a bad person. And this is the idea that the balloon infrastructure won't work. It's preposterous. It's downright evil.
May I say something?
What?
Do you know how to make these harnesses and balloons?
That shouldn't be that hard.
Well, you would have to be willing to learn how to do it.
We'll just keep working and stop until it works. That's how we've always done.
See some flaw in that.
See, how is insulting our culture again? How are we supposed to? How will we survive under this kind of dictatorship?
I'm not trying to insult your culture.
You've done it 4 times.
Insult your view.
See, I was insulting my character. This is what we want
That's
for
what
a
I've been
king.
doing since the beginning.
Just admitted it.
Cole, we need to pull back away from the petty insults.
Okay.
I apologize.
Guys,
All right. For our final question, we chose to focus on a major issue that has affected all goblins for generations. Mr. Coalburn, how would you tie a knot?
it's not me teaching.
No. Why is he? That's witchcraft.
Mr. Stumpyknees, how would you tie a knot?
Well, listen. I was raised in a middle class war camp. My mother died.
Stumpyknees, show us how you do it.
My mother died in war. Okay, it was very traumatic for me. I understand the struggles of middle class goblins, and the truth is, there will not be a middle class left after he is
Yes,
made king.
Stumpyknees, we need you.
Yes, I understand. You need to understand. This is a problem for goblins to solve and goblins only. We can't have outside interference like humans. You understand?
Whoa.
We as goblins together.
Word. Calm down and tie us to the knots.
Listen, we're gonna figure it out, okay? That is how we'll win.
Well, then
We will
figure it
figure
out
it out.
in front of us.
This is bias. You were biased against me. I knew it was. I knew you. You killed the king.
What are you gonna do about it?
Stumpyknees, tie the knot.
And
Oh no. We will
solve this.
Stumpyknees. We cannot have
We
this.
have the people. We have the scientists.
Stumpyknees. We need to be able to tie knots.
That's wish coming from you, human.
Wow. Another diabolical term.
You're so biased. I'll sue the station for everything it's worth.
Alright, we have heard from both candidates now. They will give their final statements. Starting with Mr. Coalburn.
I would like to say that, yes, maybe I have some different ideals from the goblins, but personally, I would like to help the goblins have better lives, and not, shall I say for better words, lack of better words, slave away their lives.
Alright, Mr. Stumpyknees, you now have 1 minute for your final statement.
Sure, what my opponent still does not understand that we are a people of rich culture. Just because we don't know how to tie a knot yet does not mean we need human intervention. This is so blatantly corrupt. Just look at him. He is so easy to corrupt. And yet you to parade him around because he can tie a knot. This is blatant racism coming from the human and the dwarf. Going forward, we are going to, if I'm elected, we're going to make this cave safe again. There will be no humans here. We're going to make this nation strong again. We're going to choose truth over facts. And we're going to create a great nation that stands up to the humans. We are going to make goblins great again.
The first Goblin presidential debate. Voting is now open. We encourage everyone to vote for who they want for Goblin King. To see the election posters for this information. Good night, United Goblin.
Mr. Cole.
No!